What sector opportunities exist for impact investments that are effective and scalable and can help meet pressing needs here in Aotearoa, New Zealand?
The challenge for New Zealand, in my view, is to make that 100% pure standard real and to sustain it as real. We got to align the incentives so that farmers and tourism operators are all pushing in the same direction to deliver a superior, sustainable product that really delivers on the promise of 100% pure.
There's basically no sense having a target to plant 1 billion trees, particularly if those trees are going to mature and require harvesting if we haven't worked out how we're going to extract those trees. Plant 1 billion trees of plantation forest requires considerable investment in rail and road links. And a lot of the forestry that we're going to plant is not going to be in economic areas or areas that are actually easy to access. So it might be that when we consider where those trees are going to be planted, that we're better planting natives in some of those areas where there is no intention to actually harvest them. To do that would require changes to the ETS, a more robust ETS, so that we've got certainty around the generation of carbon credits from forests that will never be harvested.
Over the last 20 or 30 years, we've heard all about climate change, and now it's actually with us. It's become a very urgent thing. And we as a country used to lead in this area, and we haven't for at least the last decade. And I kind of thought one day, how can we get almost every New Zealander involved in doing something that they can say they're playing their part? There are very few things you can do, but one of them is actually to plant trees.
If we could switch the world to a regenerative farming, which is something which is embedded in most of the organic codes.
So we're looking at sustainable land use and tapping into the productive capacity of the land in which we can then pursue and shape bigger investment projects that will deliver the water quality, climate resilience, flood control, E. coli mitigation, and so on that is required.
And similarly in the water area, we happen to believe that the key to good water is taking care of the watershed. And that means looking at how do we restore forests, how do we, heal and improve buffers between farms and waters. Now, it all costs a lot of money, right? There's a lot of choices there that have to be made. I think there are lots of interesting opportunities to use carbon finance to do that.
In housing, the opportunity is enormous, particularly if you view housing as part of a community or a neighbourhood, because you've got all these different systems at play, all these different elements at play. So to be able to deliver multiple things in a more joined up way means you can have huge impact.
Some of the more traditional NGO or community organisations, particularly the church-based ones, have often invested early on in their life in property. And they may be quite wealthy in terms of their asset base, but they haven't necessarily thought about whether that property is having a positive impact itself.
I think there is a tremendous opportunity and position for community housing organisations to fill a big gap.
And of course the other part of it is the rent to buy piece as well with home ownership. If a whole lot of people were in 15 years' time or 20 years' time or longer own their own home when they've never owned a home in their life, that's got to be the most powerful impact, if you like, on them and generations to come.
If we can get some real scale and get some of the really big heavy hitters in behind us like New Zealand Super, ACC and others, that there is an opportunity to build real scale, like 5,000 homes at a much cheaper price than what's being offered at the moment.
So when I think about affordable housing and I think about impact investing, I'm not just thinking about the model to actually build the home or to make it affordable in terms of income. I'm looking at all of the other elements that are created, and it's not just social outcomes, it's also about one's pride and the long-term changes that it makes in people's lives.
The opportunity of impact investment with our vision is to create better lives for our people in our communities.
It's moving all of our thinking away from just thinking about ourselves and what we're doing in silos or in isolation, and stepping back a little bit and understanding what the impact is on others and how others impact us, and be able to take a broader view.
When we think about what success looks like, we think about projects that both deliver superior conservation results and superior returns for investors.